After an unprecedented Chief Justice interview week, the Judicial Service Commission made history and nominated the first female jurist for the position. Supreme Court of Appeal President Mandisa Maya's name was recommended by the Commission to lead the judiciary. She was one of 4 candidates interviewed over 4 days by the JSC as they searched for the most senior judge of the Apex Court. Let's now discuss this further. We're joined via Zoom by leadership expert Professor Mazwe Majola. It's always a pleasure to see you, Prof. Thanks very much for availing yourself here to SABC News.
Good afternoon, Flo, and good afternoon to all the SABC viewers. Thank you very much.
Let me first start by asking you to give us your views really on the JSC recommendation to the President for the next Chief Justice position. Prof, obviously, what is the highlight, and I suppose for many, is that she would be, if indeed the President does take into account the recommendation, be the first female to hold the position. What are your thoughts?
Well, yes, for Judge Mandisa Maya will be her first position, or the first to occupy such a position, but she has been there before. I mean, it seems like she's she's used to be the first one in most cases, you know. In 2006, she was the first black woman to be appointed in the Supreme Court of Appeal. In 2017, she was the first woman to be appointed to be the president of the Supreme Court of Appeal. She is the chancellor of the University of Mpumalanga, and she's the first person. So you can see that she's used to be the first person to be appointed in a certain area, and she does have all the qualities and credentials really to take this position and to hold it with aplomb.
Yeah, I mean, of course, in the legal world, we know, the requirements that a jurist or judge must fulfill before they can fill any role of being a jurist. Let's talk about the Chief Justice position in particular. There would be more, I suppose, in terms of leadership qualities that one would then have to possess to be able to hold that particular role. What are those qualities and I suppose leadership qualities that that person you believe should have? I mean, we know a judge must be a fit and proper person, so that's an obvious, and I assume all 4 of those who were interviewed possess those qualities, but there's something over and above for this particular position, and what do you believe that is?
Well, it must be a person with rare abilities, really rare qualities, because it's an apex court. Every jurist, every lawyer, and every legal professional looks up to this person. It's a person who is running the whole courts of South Africa, the constitutional court of South Africa. So you need someone who is a transformational leader, someone who will get there. And notice, let me just emphasize this, notice that I'm using the word transformational leader, not a reformist.
Yes.
Because many people tend to confuse someone who gets into the institution and does a reformational thing or become a reforming as though he's doing a transformational work. No, a reformist or reformation is someone really who gets something there and makes it better. You find it there. You don't change anything, but you really improve there, and there you're making it better. Yeah. A transformational person is someone who does the whole overhaul, the whole metamorphosis, of the situation. So you need someone who will be a transformational leader there in the judiciary, because there's been a lot of criticism of judiciary in South Africa, whether rightly so or not. But we need someone who's going to make sure that the whole whole racism, sexism, inequality is addressed. And so you need someone who's assertive, someone with self-confidence, and someone who's courageous and decisive to make those decisions.
Well, I find it quite interesting that you're talking about the issue of transformation, and one of in answer to one of the questions, Justice Maya had said that, you know, she's sort of a creature of habit, and I think to quote her, she said something like she wouldn't reinvent the wheel, and it seems like you're more interested in seeing some sort of changes, some sort of transformation. So then one wonders if some of the criticisms that have been leveled to her thus far hold any water in the fact that, you know, it does seem as though she wants to keep things as is. And I wonder in that case, when you're talking about transformation, if that is the right person who'd be able to push that agenda forward.
No, well, indeed, transformation will include change and continuity. So you don't have to fix what is not broken. I think she will use her wisdom and experience to check what is working, and also, and obviously, and make sure that she starts things that are not there, and make sure that she implements policies that are not there. You had there in the interviews talking about sexual harassment. There's no sexual harassment policies. So you can see that there are certain things that are not there yet. That needs someone who can say, look, I'm starting this, they must be there. And then you know that there always been this issue between the high courts and the lower courts. You still have this in different courts, the allegations of racism and sexism. So these are things that you need someone who would go there and take the bull by its horns, and someone who's not going to be, you don't need a timid person there. You need a leader with temerity who will be able to make things happen.
I know you always talk about decisive leadership, and I think this is important to ask, you know, what kind of leadership you believe is expected from the president himself as he's about to make this particular decision and go through this process. I mean, it also does seem that, you know, he'll face criticism whichever way that he goes, and I would assume you'd want him to be decisive. What's expected? What do you expect from the president?
So President Ramaphosa introduced something very novel and something very good that has not been done before, that he exposed the whole of this process to be transparent and to be public. He appointed people to nominate people. You remember that there were about 500 names that were put there, and then Pillay tasked him. Then they looked at all those people and they recommended 8 people until there were 4 people. So the whole process has been transparent and it's been public. It's good. But unfortunately, he is in a very unenviable position because already the JSC, they now publicly has told the nation who they prefer and who they are recommending. Because at least if they just wrote to the president privately and say, look, we've done the job that you've asked us to do. Here it's what our recommendation, so that they give the president space and time to apply his mind and to choose whoever he wants. But now he's under pressure because, you know, already everyone knows that the JSC whom they have recommended. However, it doesn't mean that he has to appoint a Judge Maya. He can still appoint anyone from the 4 candidates, but he must justify and he must, you know, really take the whole nation into his confidence if for whatever reason he chose to go for someone else, not the one who has been recommended.
All right, Prof, it's always a pleasure to speak to you and to see you. Thanks very much for giving us your time as always.
Thank you. Thanks, Flo. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. That's the leadership expert, Professor Mazwe Majola.